All right, guys. Well, this is a first. We're trying a panel discussion that we're showing during our service. So, coming to us all from all over the Southeast are some friends of mine that I'm really glad to get to talk to again. So I'm going to hand it off to them, let them introduce themselves, and I'm going to start to my south, which is Daniel Kinkade. Daniel, how are you, man?
Hey, I'm good, Pastor Scott. Hope that you guys are doing well in sunny Florida. I've known Scott for over a decade now. We served both as student pastors in Kentucky in the same city, different churches. And Scott was a mentor to me and a good guy to have around. So I spent the better part of 13 years on staff as an associate pastor. I'm now a writer and an editor for a nonprofit. And so here in Nashville, Tennessee, yeehaw. And so that's a little bit about me, married, and got 2 kids under 6. So life's fun.
Awesome, and we may not be able to share the nonprofit that Daniel works with, but they are known for their Bibles. So keep up the good work, guys. Les, how about you?
Well, I am down the road a little bit from Daniel in far west Kentucky. I've known Scott. Gosh, how long? How long have we known each other? 10 years, maybe.
Yeah, I think we met. I think you started coming to Westside right after we got there. So
right. I've been serving in children's ministry for around, 20 years, and 10 of which have been the last 10 actually at Westside Baptist in Murray, Kentucky. And I'm serving as the director of Kingdom Kids Learning Center. We have around 160 preschoolers that are coming into our church every week, and just a blessing and a lot of work, but I'm glad to be here. I have 3 grown kids of my own, so I have the benefit of looking back at what I did well or what I did poorly as a parent, and maybe hopefully can encourage some today.
Definitely, and actually, cool side note, all 3 kids came through our student ministry, so it's been so fun watching them grow up and just see what they're doing, and so it was fun catching up with Cal and Cole before we went live. That was great to see them.
They're big Scott Douglas fans are in this house, so
we're big Emerson fans. We're never allowed to have favorites, but once we left, we told them, we're like, you guys were our favorites. There was no question. And everyone knows Nathaniel at Emmanuel. So Nathaniel, most importantly, how's Jed doing?
Jed is doing great. He's getting over his first ear infection, but he's doing great. He is standing. He's down for a nap right now. But so for those of you that don't know, I've got a son named Jedediah. He is almost 10 months old, and we love having him. He is a ball of energy, and it's been interesting navigating him going, why is mom home all the time now?
Definitely. Well, let's just ask that. How's your family handling the change, especially with Easter coming up? I can say this out loud because the kids aren't here, but their Easter stuff is in the closet that we bought yesterday, and their egg hunt is going to be in our backyard. We didn't go Easter shopping for clothes for them. Our Easter is going to be here at home. And so how about you guys? How's your family handling Easter in Corona season? Les, you want to take it first?
Sure. We're doing well over here. Of course, my kids are older, so I've got one in grad school in Nashville, actually, Daniel, and one in college and one in high school. So our mornings are spent doing online classes, lectures, whatever they have to do to complete their assignments for the day. But it's actually, we're in a season where our kids are all spread out. So we're actually kind of enjoying this season. Now, ask me in a month. Our attitude may change a little, but I think we're doing well here. And just looking forward to seeing what's going to be our ending date here.
Yeah. Daniel, how about you guys? How's your family handling the change? You've got kids about little kids as well. How are you guys handling the change?
Yeah, so we tell you what season we're in. We have a kindergartner who this is her first year in school. So, like telling her this is not normally how school goes, honey. But she lost her first tooth last night. So tooth fairy came, big
Oh,
deal in my household. And so, I think, Scott, what's important for families to know what we're trying to do is you can't change what's happening right now. Obviously, there's a lot of things out of our control. So we're trying to just make special memories in the moment, and so we do a little school in the morning. I'm working from home now remotely for probably at least 30 more days. I'm usually in an office, not here. So that's been a change. My 2-year-old son, he turns 3 this week or next week, and says, "Daddy, why are you still in my room on your computer?" And so, so it's just this kind of the new normal for a lot of families for however long this lasts. And so we do school. I mean, I'll be working on an article, and then I'll go help my daughter with sight words. I mean, and we'll trade off, and then I'll go put Caleb down for a nap, and then I'll work on some more. So we're parents. We're trying to just figure out kind of a routine, if you will. But for kids, we want to just create special moments. So we've done like scavenger hunts with our kids, get ideas offline, see what some great organizations are giving out some free resources, what churches are doing, and just capitalizing and making special moments with the kids. So
yeah. And I want to piggyback off of what you said about the abnormal. Like nothing is normal right now. And I know, Nathaniel, you and I talked about that just in planning for worship. Nothing's usual. So we're taping our services in advance. We're taping them in chunks. We're doing parts of it different days sometimes. Everything's being pre-recorded and thrown up. We're doing prayer meetings on Zoom. We're not, as pastors, it's weird, like people are sick and in the hospital and we're calling, we're texting, we can't see them. There's nothing that's normal about what we're doing. So it's not a normal Easter, it's not a normal season. So, the question just for is how do we navigate that abnormal, not just with our churches, but just personally? How do you navigate that one? How are you doing it up in Lakeland, Nathaniel? I know this is weird for you to have Heidi around all the time.
Yeah, so I'm in grad school and I'm doing my seminary work online. So I'm used to being home because I stay home, home with Jedediah, and I do work and I take my breaks around his schedule. But now my wife is home. She's a high school teacher. So it's kind of, we're having to learn a new routine, but trying to keep Jed on his schedule. But, my wife is having to post videos and make videos and do Zoom conferences during times that are convenient for her and for her students. And so I have to be flexible, and we're kind of having to learn where things need to change in my daily routine so that she can do what she needs to do, because obviously that needs to be top priority.
Yeah, definitely. And I think all of us are adjusting to working from home. I'm surrounded by Legos behind the bed. I moved them and toys in here. Lesley, for people not just from our church, but anyone that might be tuning into this, how should parents navigate the abnormal for kids, whether they're preschool age, elementary, and all the way through, high school?
Right. Scott, I think it starts with us calming our anxiety, taking time alone to get in the Word, and just, get our heads on straight first and foremost, because especially our preschoolers, they can pick up on our anxiety so easily. Even as old as my kids are, if I were running around the house feeling anxious, worried, watching the news constantly, my kids would pick up on that even at their age. And so it's helpful for us to remember that we really want to put nothing but positivity into their heads. We don't want them to leave this season feeling anxious. We don't want them to have a season where they feel fearful of viruses or sickness or anything like that. So we want to watch that we're turning the TV off, that we're not watching and overloading ourselves, overloading them accidentally in the process. I shared with a friend the other day, 9/11 happened when our kids were preschoolers. And so my husband and I really, really wanted to have the news on all the time. We wanted to see what was going on because this was so new and so strange. But we had to make a conscious effort. TV went off when our kids were in the room. We didn't talk on the phone to the grandparents about what was going on, the news or our fears or our concerns. And so I think it starts with us to just calm ourselves and have peace and just rest in him. And then we can convey that to our kiddos. And it can be a really great season for us to invest in our kiddos, for us to not see it as a burden, for us to check our parenting and ways we would like to do better. And we've got that time now. So if we can get our heads on straight and be a little more positive, I think it will end up being a good season for all of us, even though financially it may not be the best. And there are just certainly distractions around us. But I think it can be a good thing if we just kind of have our heads on straight to begin with. So.
Definitely. And I think that's, like you said, the strangest thing is just navigating the abnormal. We lost Nathaniel. We're trying to get him back. It's just navigating the abnormal. And the closest thing we can compare it to was a couple of years ago when we had the hurricane coming, and we got so sucked into it. And it was just the big TV, the main TV is kids stuff. If we're going to watch anything, it's going to be on our phones without them around, just so that we didn't get them into it. But then also, like you said, just capitalizing on whether it's, the unexpected time of having Callie home from grad school to just make the most out of these moments. Or as you and I texted this morning, you're loving that they're waking you up playing video games all night, and just cashing in this unique situation where we're working from home. We're being asked, Daddy, why are you in my room on the computer? Like Daniel did. Just enjoy it. This is rare. And we can't pretend that everything's okay. And that's what we've talked about. Our family's cooking more. We're spending more time together. We're doing more. We were already homeschooling, so everyone that was freaking out about it, like, it's okay, just don't expect it to be like school. Be flexible, be mobile. Tear off that honor sticker, bumper sticker when they go crazy. But how do we make our worship meaningful? And I know all of our churches are probably doing some different stuff. When Nathaniel jumps back in, he'll be able to tell us a little bit about what we're doing at Emmanuel. But I know you guys at Westside are doing a drive-in service. Daniel, how are you guys at your church making, and even in your family, making worship meaningful during this?
Yeah, Pastor Scott, a lot of things that we're doing are probably pretty similar to most churches. A lot of we're strictly online at our service that we are right now. I volunteer in our adult discipleship ministry and our counseling ministry now, and so we're got my Mac open on the kitchen table at 10 a.m. or on the kitchen table, and our church had sent like coloring sheets in the mail. So our kids are like doing the coloring sheets, and then our pastor's talking and preaching, and there's, and they're singing. And so it's as normal-ish as you can probably get. But, the real good thing just for us is we're doing it as a family. And that may sound, like, do you normally not do that as a family? We do, but with the ages of our kids, they're 6 and 2. So typically our son is in the preschool ministry and our daughter is in We Worship, as it's called at our church. And so they're not to the age yet where they're sitting in the service. I mean, you can if you choose to do that as a family in our church. But if you've ever had a 2-year-old in the service before, thank the Lord for preschool ministries. And so, and so for us right now, like we're all around the table, and that's normally not, and it's not like it's like being out at a movie or at a show with a 2-year-old or at a restaurant, because, it's not the all peace and quiet. We're all paying attention. It's like, yeah, Daddy, give me the orange crayon now. And then, Pastor Mark's preaching something on the screen. So, it's very much in the season that we're in. But it's been good for us to sit there together, because that's normally just with the ages of our kids. We don't all step into big church together normally. And so that's been a unique thing. And there's going to be the questions like, Daddy, we were supposed to do an Easter egg hunt at our church. We were supposed to, so we're navigating those things and all that. So, but it's a sweet season as a family. So.
I think that's been the coolest thing, and is just like for a lot of our families, especially for those of us that are, in ministry or active in other areas in the church. Like, we don't ever really stop and sit back and worship with our families. I know, Lesley, you can testify how many hats you and your husband wear at church, that the fact, if you guys ever get to actually sit together, people may not know that you go together.
In fact, we've even looked up on some Sundays, and one been sitting in one side and one the other, because we weren't expecting the other to be in there. So we have a little talk sometimes.
So, and I think that's just where, like you said, this is just an unusual thing, and Easter Sunday is going to be different for us at Emmanuel, how we're going to do worship. So if you're watching this from EBC, just hang in there. It's going to be different. It's not going to be what we're used to. But we've also talked about, when we do get back together, that will be our Easter Sunday. It'll be Easter in June, Easter in July. We have no idea when we're going to get back together. As we wrap up, what are you, just last question, Nathaniel, what are you looking forward to when all this passes?
Well, my church answer is getting back to see everyone, getting to gather. And I am truly excited about that. But I did tell my wife the other day that as soon as all this is over, I'm going to the movies. She can join me or not. I'm going to the movie theater. And then I'm sure she'll want to get back to Disney. So those are the 3 things that we're looking most forward to.
How about you, Daniel? What are you guys looking forward to?
Well, my wife may be looking forward to me going back to the office, but no. I think like our daughter misses school. She talks about missing riding the school bus, seeing her friends, seeing all that, and we haven't broke the news to her, pending on how this thing extends, whether or if that happens again. And so we're just, it's little stuff like that, and explaining to the heart of a 6-year-old, an age appropriate what's happening. But we try in our normal life. Obviously even a 6-year-old knows, hey, something's different right now. So we'll look forward to even little things like our son turns, like I said, 3 next week. So we had to cancel his birthday party. So do something with him, with grandparents after it. So just because, excuse me, things like this happen, and you still have milestones like birthdays, anniversaries, stuff that kind of can come up on the calendar that's like, hey, that was different this year. Mm-hmm. So you're going to have to go back and like you were saying, we'll have Easter Sunday in June or July or whenever. You kind of have to go back and relive those moments. I'm also a huge baseball fan. So I'm going to try to find, we have a AAA team in Nashville Sounds. And I'm an Atlanta Braves fan. So if you're not a Braves fan and you're tuning me out now, I still love you. And, so I'm just looking forward to live sports again. It can be a stress reliever just to watch a sports game. So I'm looking forward to baseball season kicking off.
I'm excited about, obviously the church answer of seeing everyone again, but can't wait for the beaches to reopen. That's our happy place, and hopefully we can catch a few Rays games before they move to Montreal next year. That's our thought. Les, what are you guys going to do when this is all over?
it would be good to see family, of course, because our parents are a little older, so we're trying to distance ourselves a little bit there. But, I'm mainly looking forward to that first worship song. I think that's when it's just going to feel right, and normalcy is going to feel but like it's returned. And as you remember, at Westside, we can bring a good song, a good worship song. So I'm looking forward to just being united and hearing that first song.
Yeah, when we go off air, I'm gonna try to guess what song that'll be that Michael picked. I've got 2 or 3 that I figure they'll do.
We got some go-tos.
Got some go-tos there. All right. Well, thank you so much for hanging out. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day, and hopefully to church this was a blessing to you as much as it was to us. So thanks so much. We'll continue our service. And